Yeah.
We really are at a bluegrass festival.
We can hear you.
All right, we'll do it acoustic, the old school way.
There you go.
Welcome to the workshop stage. It's been a great afternoon here. It's kind of a bit of a sonic oasis here. It's a little quieter than anywhere else. A good chance to rest your brain and hear the pure unamplified sounds of loud microphones.
The way it used to be.
Anyway, just a quick mention, the DC Bluegrass Unit has a great website with among other, it has a resources section with a list of area instructors. We are rich in all the instruments in this area, and if you are interested in finding a teacher on your given instrument, check out the resource page there. Our next to last presenter is again somebody that really needs no introduction, and I'll just say that if you look at
Give me one anyway.
all right. And if you think about bluegrass music, and you know, when I think about third generation musicians, we got Earl and Bill at the top, and then we got JD in the second, and on the third tier of musicians, there are two guys that come to mind when you think of like totally game changed their instrument, and that would be Tony Rice on guitar and Jerry Douglas on dobro. Please welcome Jerry Douglas.
I enjoyed Sierra's little workshop there, especially the little girl that played the fiddle who just hopped off the stage and hopped to the corner and flopped down on the little floor. That ends when you're about 25. You hop, you know, we hopped a lot, you know, 25, 30 even, but it was chemically induced most of the time. And then when we fell down, that was all the same. That was all the same. But it's nice to be here. It's nice to be here in DC. I've got such a long history of playing around here. I love playing here. And playing at the Birchmere, first one, the second one, the third one, and whichever one. If I had to rank them, I'd have to say I like the second one the best.
Yes.
And but we won't do that today, even though we do agree. I'm out with the Earls of Leicester right now on a tour, and so I'm playing only old dobros, which I really like. And it's the whole reason that I wanted to play the instrument in the first place, was just hearing the sound of these things. You know, Josh Graves waking me up in the morning, you know, 6th grade. I didn't want to get up, but there was Josh Graves. I could get up and get closer to the stereo and try to listen and figure out what he was doing. And maybe learn a little something that morning. And right before I went to school, and sat at school and tried to figure out his solos, and by tapping my fingers on my desk until I was called out for that. Then I would work them out on my TV. You can do that, actually. That's how I did it. And yeah, they've got tablature now. Back then we had tapping fingers and teeth. So things have changed just a little. Cannonball Blues. That's where I'm living these days. I'm living in that world, the world of Latin Scruggs, and all those great tunes. We're just inundating ourselves with that stuff. You know, we have tunes, CDs. Charlie Cushman has an endless supply of Latin Scruggs, and we're just killing ourselves with it. It's great. This is about a 1934 Model 27, the original dobro, that I bought from a fellow named Steve Toth, who has a book out right now that it's like the wish book of dobro players. It's got every old dobro in it, all the models, you know, going through the cheapest ones to the most expensive, ornate ones that they made. And the Dopiero brothers got really lucky in a lot of respects. I mean, there's so many things about these guitars that haven't been changed since 1927. I mean, the cover plates, the cones, the spiders, you know, screens, strings. Slotted headstocks I was never a fan of because I hated changing the strings on them. I'd actually get so mad at changing them, I'd just wind them up until they'd break again, and my dad would know that I maybe should give it a break for a while. But these things I loved, and this is a Model 27. It's called a Model 27 because it has binding on only on the top side, and so it was a $27 guitar. And there you go. Yeah, that's all you needed. And these guitars were built. This one in particular was built in Chicago by the Regal Guitar Company. I think dobro fell behind. I don't know what happened. Somebody fell into a machine out in California or something like that. They had to move in the middle of the night. They moved the whole operation to Chicago and got the guy out of the machine in California in time to get back and start making them again there. I really don't know what that was about. But that's a good story. But so they made them. This one, and the other guitar I have, and the ones that Mike Aldridge had, and the one Josh Graves played, were all made by Regal bodies, and they were all made about the same time. A lot of K guitars were being made up there, so they're sort of like plywood guitars that were built to hold this contraption here, this metal contraption that made the guitar sound like it does. So there's really a lot of thought that went into this, and a lot of thought that has gone into it in the last 100 years almost, but not that much has really changed. Paul Beard has done amazing things with it. Tim Shearhorn has done amazing things with it. A lot of builders have by using solid woods, some baffles, sound posts, and things like that inside them that use the body as a speaker cabinet instead of just something to hold the metal contraption. And it's paid off. Dobros are now these monsters, hybrid monsters, compared to these old guitars. There's so many more tones that you can get out of the guitars that I play, that Paul has built, and they're so loud, they're banjo busters practically. I could walk out there with one of my guitars and one of my Beard guitars, and some people would actually turn around and go, "What was that sound that interrupted my cacophony?" But you love that, was funny. But I really love playing these old guitars. I mean, they're still, like I said, they're the sound that made me, that went to my heart and made me want to play the guitar. It made me love the sound of a dobro guitar. And so I have another one here. It's like going to the petting zoo or something. It reminds me of another story. I was doing a show with Jesse Winchester one time, just he and I out doing the duet show. And I was really, Jesse was so quiet when he played. It was so quiet that I felt like I was a huge interruption, into whatever he was doing. But we played this festival out in California, and Utah Phillips was there, the guy that wrote Rock, Salt, and Nails and other really, really great songs. But he had a dobro player with him too. But most of the guys that were at this festival were, ex-blacklisters, a lot of communist guys. And his dobro player, I remember him saying to Utah, he has 2 dobros. Like I should give one to the state or something. This is a Model 37 because it has binding on both sides. And it also has a flat headstock, which I love because I can change strings on it so easy. And it's also the guitar that I saw on the cover of a Flat and Scruggs record that Josh was playing one of these, so I thought, well, that is the holy grail. I have to have one of those. And I searched far and wide, and my first dobro guitar, or any kind of slide guitar, was a Silvertone cheap guitar that I got for Christmas when I was about 6 years old. And I played that forever and ever. It hurt my fingers so bad, it was like pressing down on a cheese grater all the time. And my dad had a nice Martin and a nice Gibson in there in the other room, but I couldn't play those until I learned to play my piece of shit guitar. And so luck would have it that I came home from school and we would stack our guitars up, from good to piece of shit. And mine was on the top in a little chipboard case. And we had seen Flat and Scruggs. And I told my dad, if you raise the strings up on my guitar, I'll learn how to play like that guy. Pointing at Josh Graves. And so we got home and we took the only toothbrush we had in the whole family. We cut a piece out of it and we put it up here and raised the strings up a little bit. And it was a bad orthodontic couple of years, but and I had a piece of copper tubing that I used for a bar, for a slide. And I sat down at the record player and I learned, a few things about, what was going on. How was this thing tuned? Somebody said, just tune it in G like a banjo, just make it go lower. And so I did that. And I could already tell that was going to be better. And I kind of was a frustrated banjo player before that. I had Earl Scruggs fever, and my dad had a Vega White Lady banjo in the cupboard, in the closet, that he just stuffed in the closet. Didn't have a case or anything. But he traded that for a dog and a shotgun, so I never got to play that one. Good dog. Never got to use the shotgun on the dog. Peter's going to get me there now. Oh, I would do that. I would never do anything like that. But, so my guitar is laying up on the top of this cedar chest we had, and it's all these guitar cases are stacked up. And I come in home from school one day, and I noticed my case looked kind of funny. And so I hit the middle. That only had one clasp that still worked on the case, and I hit that one, and the whole thing sprung open, and the guitar went. And it just folded up. It just folded up, man. The neck, the headstock met the bottom end of the guitar, and it was all over. And I was like devastated, But the family got the toothbrush back. So I had to go looking for something a real dobro. So we found this guy. In the paper in Warren, Ohio, we found a guy who had advertised Hawaiian guitar for sale. So we go out there and we look at it. He brings it outside and it's dusk, right? And so we're going, round cover plate on there, shiny cover plate, head F-holes. I thought, I've seen them with F-holes. We got one. This is the real thing. So I remember sitting in the car all the way home in the back seat playing that thing, thinking this is the last guitar I'll ever need. And then woke up the next morning and looked down in the guitar, and there was no cone. It was just silver paint underneath the. And that happened a lot. You know, it was sort of like a movie guitar or something. But I learned a lot of how to play on that guitar, and it ended up in the attic of my folks after I got a real dobro and everything, and was playing for a few years. And then they moved, and my dad gave it away to some guy when they moved, and the fella gave it back to me about 5 years ago. So I have that one. I don't have the original one. I think we burned that one, but so good luck finding that one. But it was nice to have them all, and I have every guitar that I've ever bought or have been given or traded for or anything like that. I still have them all, much to my wife's dismay. And I think it's about time to thin the herd soon, but I just have trouble getting rid of anything. I'm a dobro pack rat. But there's a wide enough trail still, I can still get there. How do we play a little Fireball or something like that? See, am I in tune with them? We tuned the Earls. We tuned to 448 instead of 440. Flat and Scruggs tuned to 451. It's a little bit of a stress on your guitar, on your instrument, but the banjo sounded great up there. And Johnny Warren has told me that he was witness to them tuning up, and when he saw them tune up, it was with Lester taking his guitar out of the case, hitting his D string, and everybody just tuned to wherever he was that day. And it was usually, a straight on. I mean, it always amazed me that I couldn't not, tune my guitar to a tuning fork and then just go out there and sit by the record player and play with them, because I was out of tune. And I finally figured out, I need to tune up to them. They're not coming down to me, no matter how hard I wish it. But they also, all of our instruments are tuned up to 4. We split it at 448 because Johnny had Paul's fiddle repaired, and we didn't want to blow it up. So we didn't want the fiddle going all the way that far. So we split the difference. So I played a little Josh Graves here for a second. Has Rob done a workshop yet? Here? Where is he? Somebody call him up and get him down here. tuning trick that Mike Aldridge used. Just tuning your sixth string, your low G down to an E. And it adds a whole lot. There are a whole lot more things you can do with that, just lowering that string. But if you drop it all the way down, I got to make a record with Mike right toward the end of his life, and I got with him and I said, Mike, I knew he wasn't feeling very well. He told me he wasn't feeling very well. He was really worried about how bad he was feeling, and I said, well, we need to record. We never have. We've talked about it for 30 years. We've never done it. And he said, yes, we do. We need to record. Maybe we can make a record. And I said, well, let's not even think about making a record. Let's just record. Let's just record. This is very selfish of me, but I just want to record with it. And I said, but at the same time, I want to call Rob Ikes and have him come play with us because he's as big a fan as I am. He loves you. And you are the reason he plays. And he said, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. So we started doing sessions at Bias Studio here over in Springfield. And Rob and I would fly up whenever our schedules all matched with Mike, and we'd go in and we'd play, for a day at least, for probably about 8 hours at first. First session was about 8 hours. And he blew us totally away. He was, we started talking about, way out, we started talking about material that we would record for the record, and I said, this is about you, so it's what you want to play, whatever you want to play. So he picked out some tunes, I came up with some tunes, Rob had some tunes, and we threw them all in a big pile, and here you have, okay, Mike, what do you want to play out of all this stuff? And he picked a bunch of tunes. We went in the studio and started recording, and Rob and I are going like, he doesn't need us. And he was playing so great. I'd never heard him play better. I mean, there had to be something to do with, knowing exactly what's going on with you, knowing what's happening to you, not having any of these distractions that we normally have. It's like, what are we going to do next week? He wasn't thinking about next week. It was like right now. That was what he was thinking about. And he was playing so clearly, so, so powerful, everything. He still had a lot of strength in his right hand. And he said, well, he'd also said, well, what are we going to do about a band? My first thought was, Frank Sullivan's up there with his band. We ought to get them to play on the record. And then I thought about it a little bit, and I said, we're not going to have a band. It's just going to be the three of us. We can cover all the parts. We won't have a bass per se, but we'll have something that's lower than the lead, and we'll stay low, and we'll concentrate the parts in layers. We'll make sure we stay out of each other's range, so we can, make a full range, big sounding record. And I'd done it. I knew you could do it. I'd done it a lot with just solo tunes on my records, just by overdubbing myself in the same way. But having two other guys there at the same way, you can direct that to where you can have a huge sound and not have a lot of people. And he said, I think you're crazy, but we'll try it. Well, we tried it, and they both went, okay, this works. Okay, we'll go on. We'll keep going. So we recorded the first session, and one of the first song we played was I said, what about Silver Threads Among the Gold? Because I know you recorded that with Josh on your first record, and his first record was just an amazing record. It just, it was the first record that we dobro players had as our Foggy Mountain banjo record, and something we could all relate to and gather some inspiration from, and really, made us want to play. Made you want to be Mike Aldridge is what it made you want to be. So, because when I joined the Country Gentlemen, I've heard recordings of us, live recordings of the Country Gentlemen, and I'm going, is that Mike? No, that's you. I played, not exactly like, there was nobody exactly like Mike, but I was aping his style so closely that, and I just wanted to play like him. And it just seemed like everything he did was the perfect place. Every note was in the right place at the right time. And I think Rob felt the same way. And I'm sure we all start out that way, emulating someone, and then we find our voice at some point. But at that point with me, the Country Gentleman, 73 to 75, right in there before I went with J.D. Crowe, I was playing like Mike Aldridge. Why would I not say that? And so we played Silver Threads Among the Gold. I said this would be a great way to kick off a record, because if this is going to be a record, this is a good way to start it. We can chronologically kind of separate things out this way. Let's start with that. We're both into that one, so. Played that for a little while. We're all swirling around each other, we're having a great time. It's like a bunch of birds in the sky, we got this one guy, and we're kind of flying up underneath him and around him and kind of messing with him, but he's like steady on, he's killing it. And we played, I think we cut 3 songs the first time. Went back up there again a while later and cut 3 more songs, and pretty soon we thought, well, this is a record. This is no longer just something for us. This is a record. So, and Mike really wanted it to be a record. So we thought, okay, we'll record. We'll do 3 solo pieces, and we'll do some of our own things. And Rob came up with Dobro Heaven, which is a really great song. And then the song got nominated for a Grammy this year. So it was just, I think when we went from like, okay, me having this, really idea for being, kind of like, I want this to, like, okay, this is a record, okay, there it goes. Now it's up for a Grammy.
Did Mike hear it?
And Mike did hear the finished product, yeah. We went as far as, Rob and I wanted to see Mike again, so we, under the auspices of working on a record cover, we flew up to see him again. And he wasn't in too good a shape at that point. They hit his vocal cords with radiation, and he sounded like Dirty Harry. And he really liked that. Because he always kind of liked to talk like that. Badass way to talk. So he kind of dug it. And there's a picture on the back of the record, if you have the record, the CD, of us laughing, of us just dying on that laughter from, I'm doubled over. He had just told us some really dirty joke in his Dirty Harry voice. I tell you the joke, but I can't really. But
Were his jeans still pressed?
his jeans were totally pressed. To the end, Mike Aldridge's jeans had such a crease you could shave with it. Hair was perfect. In a Dirty Harry voice, it was even better than ever. And I talked him into playing this song. The song is called North. It started out as a little piece in a movie called Get Low that I did. It was a Robert Duvall movie with Bill Murray, and this guy decided to have his own funeral before he died, so he could see who his friends were. And all these people showed up, and they weren't buying tickets fast enough, so he decided to just have a lottery on his 300 acres of virgin timber, and then they came out of the woodwork, And but in the movie, every time you see Robert Duvall, I'm playing underneath him. Pretty cool guy. So we played this. Anybody got a question? I'm just talking my brains out up here. Can you raise your hand and I'll call on you? Wonderful. Yeah. Amen.
You've got so much drive with your thumb, and I know when I try and play, like, if I hit my strings that hard, my thumb pick, God knows where it's going to end up. So, is your thumb pick just like clamped on that hard? Or is it any kind of special?
Well, my thumb pick is on there really good because I ate something with a lot of salt in it last night. It really works. No, I don't know. You know, it's just some days I can play harder than others just because, you know, your thumb pick. This is a blue chip thumb pick, which you don't want to lose if you get one. They're really expensive and they last. They're supposed to last you a really long time. About every 3 months I have to get another one. Because I play a lot, you know, I play all the time, and in my thumb, when I was in high school, I played football all through high school. I broke this thumb about 3 times. And I'd never know where my thumb's gonna go. Your thumb pick is not a problem. Where your thumb is gonna go is a bigger problem. But I wear my picks the same exact place. J.D. Crowe and I once compared picks, and they were cut exactly the same place. It was just by leading with that edge. It was just the tone we were after, I guess, of not hitting no matter how hard I try, I cannot hit this string flat, straight on with a pick. And so I hit it with the leading edge, and so sooner or later I've got a full half moon cut in my pick. And even with these, I can do it. It takes me 3 months, but I can do it. This stuff's made out of some kind of NASA shit, I don't know.
Is it the JD model? Is it the JD model or the Rezo model?
This is the Rezo model. This is the JD Rezo model. Whatever that is. Yeah, I liked the JD Crowe pick when he came out with it, but I wanted this part here to be, the edge to be a little wider and a little bit longer.
Because the Rezo one's really kind of long and narrow.
Yeah.
And that JD's a little like softer.
But he made me these with a little wider. With a little wider. What do you call that part of the pick? What's that called? Spoon.
Plectrum.
The spoon, which feeds us all. Yes, ma'am.
Do you still have the butter knife that Charlie Waller gave you?
Wow. Charlie Waller was one of the best friends I've ever had, and when I was about to leave the Country Gentleman, Charlie gave me a buck knife, and I still have that buck knife. Yes, ma'am, I do. It's in a very safe place. Yeah.
How do you handle your B strings?
B strings. There will be no B strings in heaven. They torture you your entire life. It doesn't matter what kind of instrument you play. B strings, I tuned my B strings about 7 cents flat. Yeah. If you tune your B string to a B note, that's probably a B. But since we're dobro players, we're playing with a straight edge, you know. That will never do.
Warbles.
So I tune them about Gene Wooten used to yell at me all the time because he liked to tune his to a beat. And I could not stand it. I couldn't play, but it was really good for slants. But so if you play with a so you end up being flat if you just go straight at it. So you kind of have to compensate a little bit more if you're playing slants. But I didn't really play that many slants. Better get that. That could be that $1 million call. Can I answer it? Don't pick me up for 4 more hours. I have banjos to listen to. Way back.
Hey Jerry, any thoughts on the Red Fox Inn?
The Red Fox Inn. I used to go to the Red Fox when I first joined the Country Gentlemen. I was 16, 17 years old. They're persistent. But I only calling for his night back.
Calling for his night back. We're all in trouble.
We are all in trouble anyway. But I used to go to the Red Fox Inn. I'd drive over there and just to listen to the Seldom Seen and look at their hot wives. And sometimes John Starling would be in surgery at Walter Reed and couldn't get out, and so Mike would play guitar and I would play dobro. I would get to be Mike Aldridge for an evening. And talk about, like, for a 16-year-old kid to be Mike Aldridge and just go, coolest dude in the world. I thought I even looked like him, But it was the coolest place to play. It was the only place you could go and hear bluegrass music around here. Then there was the Partners too in Centerville. And later on, the Birchmere didn't come till much later. The Red Fox, I don't know what's going on with the Red Fox now, but it was.
It's long gone.
Is it good? Is it bulldozed?
Remember the Shamrock where you used to play?
I gotta turn off my alarm. I'm snoozing right now. But, yeah.
I saw you in a solo show in Pennsylvania, and I asked you afterwards, you mentioned Choctaw Hill. I said, oh, I should have come. I'm wondering, like, what's the toughest song you play solo? Choctaw Hill with the full band,
The toughest song to play solo that I've written, I write these tunes on a dobro, but I write them to be played by, with bands. And so it's not real easy to just haul off and play one of them. Probably the hardest one, and here I go being an idiot, is like Union House Branch, something like that. Because I wrote that song because I didn't think Allison was playing enough fiddle on the shows. So I wrote it so she would play more fiddle. I'm gonna have to write another one. But it did work, and she played it. She learned the melody, and there was one part, and she said, "You just added that to make it more harder." And I said, "No, it really makes sense. It really makes sense. The melody is just a little palate cleanser. Think of it that way." And but she did learn the song after throwing her bow across the room several times. It wasn't pretty, but she did it. She really plays it great. But it's that's how the main tune goes. But it works, it works. But man, with a band behind it, it's got so much. When you get to the But then I add the diz part. She went, why? So it ends up on the song that I'm the only one that plays that part, which is fine with me. It's a palate cleanser, okay? So it eats your way from the main tune, and so when you hear the other tune again, then but because it goes up. It's not really, you know, it's not in a really clean time signature, but it works. Let's see if I can play it right. It works. So that's the hardest one. I think I have to wrap this up here, folks. But yeah, one more question. Got it?
Let this guy go.
You go. Come on. Come on, Danny. You had a question.
I do have a question. You go to other countries now, and people are playing your melodies. Talk about songwriting on the dobro.
Songwriting on the dobro is difficult. It's, I mean, there's no combination of notes that hasn't already been played. I mean, in any time signature, you know. I do a lot of, I mean, I did a show the other night with Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi. And so, you know, my band, my electric band opened. I mean, I just come off of this thing with I was in Scotland and Ireland and England, and we were doing transatlantic sessions where I had Rodney Crowell and Patty Griffin and Sarah Watkins and, you know, a cast of 17 people. So I'm wrangling cats for about 2 weeks. So they all send me songs, and I build a show around that and the band that we have in Scotland that we've done all the transatlantic shows with. And so I did that, and it was wonderful, so wonderful. We really have the show down right when we stop. It's really ready for prime time, and then we go home. But so I flew from London to LA, went to the Grammys, kind of floated around at the Grammys for a couple days, and that was all really nice. And then came home for a couple days, and then went to Prairie Home Companion and froze my ass off in Minneapolis. Oh, thank you so much. And Chris Thile was really good, and he and I tore apart bluegrass music as a Valentine's Day terror, which was fun. But you know, Valentine's Day was created by three guys who were being burned at the stake. Fitting. But so doing that, and then, you know, I think that what I'm getting at here is that traveling has inspired me to write a whole lot of different melodies and in different ways. Just things like that, just modal moves like that are direct from Ali Akbar Khan, who is a wonderful Indian slide sarod player. Sarods are instruments that are kind of like a banjo and a dobro kind of combination, because they have a metal fingerboard, and these guys are constantly dipping their fingers in this grease down here to make these slides, and it was just like carpal tunnel is automatic. they have to stop on a dime on a quarter note tone, not a whole tone. Everything's divided, and so it's very, very complicated. And they're trying to. And for Derek and I both, if you listen to him play, it's very obvious. And the two of us together, we got finished that night. We were in the dressing room, and I'm going, man, I'm really sorry to sound like you when you're playing. When we're playing together, I start sounding like you. And he said, no, I was sounding like you, I'm sorry. And so we were apologizing to each other for sounding like each other during this thing. But that's kind of it. Wherever you go, I've been lucky enough to be on a few of these USIA tours back when other countries still liked us. We did these tours, and we would get to go to, I've been to Iran, Iraq, everywhere, and played, and then we would play with the local musicians at some point, and just they would try to play what we were playing, we'd try to play what they're playing, and it was, we both came away just feeling like we were complete losers, I'm sure, but we did gain something from it. And I think that if people put on, if they open themselves up to all these different kinds of music. Snooze some more. That was set when I was supposed to stop. Somebody else is supposed to do a workshop, so I think.
Banjos.
Dinner break? Well, I can go for another couple of minutes, though, if you don't mind missing a piece of chicken. So.
No, it's banjo.
Yep.
Your song, We Hide and Seek, it almost sounds like you're changing time signatures, or are you exactly like that you sort of managed to?
Well, hide and seek is kind of a trick, but you are changing time signatures. But it's I love that song because it was the first song that I ever wrote that Bela Fleck couldn't play. So if you count it, which I'm not going to do, you count it. 1, 2. Comes out even. But and then you switch time signatures. There's another. They're not really time signature changes. They're pushes and hesitations. So your new one would start there. You're just recreating a one. Starting it over again. That's the thing that's hard to stick with, And I still look at the band today after they played this song, 1,000 times, and I look around at them and they're still going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 20. But don't count it, feel it. It's jazz. You don't try to count Coltrane solos. You just feel them. There are such lines in them that are so memorable. That's what you remember. It's not really the chord structure or it's the note sequence is what you're really paying attention to. And this must be the room everyone eats in. What should I play? I should play one more song and I'll be done. The suit. That's the hardest thing there is to play because I have no James Taylor.
Play an early one. Something for strength of numbers.
Let's see if they. Oh, there's something I know. Maybe. Oh wait, yeah, I'll play this.
A little more.
Thank you.